wanted to concentrate on a famous rabbi, Algerian, based also Jerusalem, famous Israeli rabbi. His name was Rabbi Aharon Shloush, very great rabbi. I believe he was born, I think, the 7th of that specific year, respectively, in the year 1920. He was a very famous rabbi. He was about nearly 80 years of age when he passed away. He would become one of the leaders of the Sephardic community in the city of Jaffa, one of the founders of the Neve Tzedek neighborhood, which we've spoken about on various occasions before, which we should brush up on. He was also had prominent roles. I think he was actually a goldsmith by trade, a money changer. He was dealing with lands, Jewish settlement, and I think he was part of the famous Shloush family, which would go on to have many, many important roles in establishing different areas in Eretz Israel, and especially in Tel Aviv, all throughout, especially early stages of Medinat Israel history and pre-Israel history, let's just say, in of itself. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born in the Algerian city of Oran, and which is very interesting. I think he was born around the year 1840. I have to double check, but I think his family moved to Ottoman Palestine around the time period when he was born. So I think they would actually travel by ferry to Haifa from Oran, respectively. And soon afterwards, the family moved to Nablus, and then to Jerusalem, and thereafter finally to Jaffa. They became one of the leading families in the city, having exceptional good leadership skills. The Shloush family had connections with Arab families also. They spoke Arabic. One of the known family friends was a Turkish governor. And what's interesting is he would have 2 sons and 5 daughters. I think one of them was Abraham Haim, and another one was a very, very famous man, Yosef Eliyahu Shloush. I'm not too sure if he was a rabbi or not, but he was a famous, one of the famous founders of Tel Aviv, an entrepreneur, a businessman, industrialist. We'll speak about him maybe towards the end of this class. So he was born, but he was born actually in, I believe, in Fez, Morocco. It's not too sure where he actually was born. According to one opinion, it was maybe in Oran in Algeria. Another opinion says that maybe it was in Fez in Morocco, so I'll double check on that. I think his family actually roots from the Portuguese expulsion is reported over. And I think it was in the early 1840s. I've got to double check on the exact date when he actually moved to Israel. Now, I believe his father's name was Rabbi Aharon Shloush, another famous rabbi. Hopefully we should speak about it. I don't think we actually recorded a video within regards to him. His father was born in the year 1812, and he very much he was part of organizing group around the 1840 time period. I think he would organize as many as 150 people to emigrate to the land of Israel, and there was much is actually chronicled over with regards to their journey on their way to Accra, how a storm hit the ship and it actually had significant repercussions. And I believe when his father would actually move the family to initially to Jaffa, his father would actually found the yeshiva and next to a synagogue. And I think over the years, his father's synagogue included famous rabbis over there, who I think many of them we've mentioned about in this series before. They included, I think Rabbi. Let's just look at the list over here, just using notes from Wikipedia. Rabbi Yaakov Samchon, Rabbi Shlomo Buchbot, who he happened to be the father of Rabbi Shabtai Buchbot, if I'm not mistaken. These will be rabbis that will have an integral part of this synagogue. I don't know if in his time or in that specific time in itself. Also, Rabbi David Ben Shimon, Rabbi Shlomo Chazan, Alexandria, another great rabbi he's spoken about on various occasions before. I think his father, actually, Rabbi Aharon Shloush, passed away in the year 1858. So that's that. So let's go back to speaking about Rabbi Aharon Shloush over here. So his family, I think he was very young when his father passed away. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure the exact age. Maybe he was in his teenage years. I have to double check on that. And then his brother-in-law would very much help him. And within regards to Torah learning, within regards to life skill learning, so on and so forth. So that was, I think that was, I'll have to double check on that specific date in of itself. But no, he'd go on to become a very, very famous person. I think he would start working in money exchanging, and he would acquire skills to become a professional goldsmith also. So it was, and then I think it was around the time period of if I'm not mistaken, maybe 1870s, early parts of 1870s, he would actually become very wealthy with a massive fortune in the business that he had. And he would turn to land business more. And he would operate both independently and in partnership with Jewish communities, Sephardic community, and the Maghrebi communities in Jaffa, respectively. I think he was close to another famous man, Chaim Nissim Amzalag, another famous man we've spoken about. Hopefully we'll speak about maybe a dedicated video too. I think he was famous member of a family of Moroccan Portuguese origin. He would be part of the British consul in Jaffa, and also he was very close to Yosef Moyle, I think, who was a successful merchant and one of the leaders of the Western community in the Jewish settlement of Jaffa, respectively. And he would build close connection. He built, I think, his first house outside of Jaffa, in the northern part of, there's a neighborhood, I believe, that is called the Manshia neighborhood, I think, of north of Jaffa, respectively. And he would build a house, I think, various other houses also. The family would move, I think, to that specific area in the year 1887. I think 1892, he moved to a house that was built on the edge of the Neve Tzedek neighborhood. Neve Tzedek being outside the Jaffa city walls, which is known as Aharon Shloush house, a famous house over there, located at 32 Shlush Street, now in the Neve Tzedek neighborhood, respectively, which still stands today. The Housewood family established a family synagogue over there. I think it's still active together also. The first house he built was, I think, destroyed during the Yom Ha'atzmaut Independence War. I think it was reported over. But I think more of his houses, they do, outside the walls of the area of Jaffa, they do are in structure today. Rabbi Shloush sold on to, I think, various different plots of his lands. He would actually exchange and do business with many different people. I think it was. I think he would sell under conditions, if I'm not mistaken, around, I think, to someone named Shimon Rokach, who was he would work with him with regards to building, I think, the Beit Tzedek neighborhood over there, and other members of, I think there was a Ezrat Yisrael Association, if I'm not mistaken, 10 dunams, I think, which was divided into 48 plots, which made up the Neve Tzedek neighborhood. I think it was built in the 1887. It was the first Jewish neighborhood built outside the walls of Jaffa. Later, I think the Neve Shalom neighborhood, which would become part of Machane Yehuda, respectively, the Aaron neighborhood. I think there was other places, maybe a place that will later on become called the Kerem Hatzemanim neighborhood. I think more in the south central Tel Aviv was very much connected to him. He would purchase a plot of land far from neighborhoods that was established and other places, I think, maybe close to the Trompledo cemetery, I think, and which would be given to the community. He assisted pioneers who came from Russia and Romania, including, I think, the Bilu movement, if I'm not mistaken, another group, I think, that actually originated from Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken, or the Russian Empire. I think in the year 1890, he was part of pioneering an initiative by the leaders of various different Jewish communities in Jaffa to establish a joint community so that it would, I think, where he would try and work together with both Ashkenazim and Sephardim. There was a lot of differences, I think, when these communities would move to various areas, respectively. In 1892, he moved to the Neve Tzedek neighborhood and would travel by Jaffa by carriage every day. He owned a jewelry store also, and I think it's reported over that one time there was an accident with regards to his carriage. The governor of Jaffa very much was in huge connection with him on various different, let's say, aspects of life over there at that stage in time. He got married. His wife's name was Rabbanit Sarah. She, I think, was the daughter of Matzliach Baruch, if I'm not mistaken. They actually came, I think, from Batzra, if I'm not mistaken. And much can be said within regards to they came from Basra, I think, and his father was headman within regards to the village of Mukhtar of the Jewish settlement in Nablus. And Rabbi Aharon and Sarah, as we said before, had 7 children, I believe, including Yosef Eliyahu Shloush, Rabbi. I don't know if he was actually had rabbinic ordination or not, but he was a famous man. Another one, I think he had sons, including Yaakov, also daughters, including Sultana, Luna, I think Jamila, and that very much Yosef Eliyahu and Abraham would take on establishing various different importances, especially during the 19th century, with regards to building successful businesses, factories, building products, And I think they were known as the Three Brothers, if I'm not mistaken. They had a successful factory, helping building up Tel Aviv and Jaffa, especially until the late 1920s, if I'm not mistaken. They were contractors. They worked extensively on the construction of Tel Aviv and neighborhoods that preceded it. And I think they were also a treasurer. One of them was the Apek Bank in Jaffa. They were among the founders of the Ahuzat Bayit. Also, this is something else, which was a Jewish neighborhood found outside the walls of Jaffa, I think in 1909. It's interesting. His grandson Moshe Shloush would become a businessman, a diplomat, a politician, and public figure from Tel Aviv, also a member of the family. He was the son of Yosef Eliyahu. He was the third mayor of Tel Aviv also. And I think he passed away, I think it was on the 19th of Nisan, back in the year 1920. We're talking about 105 years ago. And I think he was buried next to his wife in the Trumpeldor cemetery, I think in the old cemetery of Tel Aviv, respectively. So we could actually say a few more things within regards to him. We spoke already about how he bought the land northeast of Jaffa, where he built a house, facilitated creation of the neighborhood of Neve Tzedek. I believe his house was actually one of the largest residential buildings in the late 19th century, and that would actually help the family start to grow. And Aharon would actually go on to build the second floor of the house. At east part of the house was a synagogue. Today, the house is now an important landmark in Neve Tzedek, and I think it's been under construction here and there. And they were also involved in the iron and tile industry. It's interestingly that Rabbi Aharon was interested in religious education and hired a rabbi from Beirut to teach Torah in Jaffa. So I love to hear more information within regards to that. Just to add a few words with regards to Yosef Eliyahu Shloush, his son. He passed away in the year 1934. I think it's his Hilula only a few days ago. Hopefully tonight I will record a video about him. He passed away on 23rd of July 1934. I think he was about 64. He was approximately 64 years of age. Obviously, he was also one of the founders of Tel Aviv, an entrepreneur, a businessman, an industrialist. He was very much in the factory business. He was in the building of construction business and building different kinds of buildings in northern Jaffa and later in Tel Aviv. I think the Feingold houses, for example, in Yafei Nof of the Bella Vista neighborhood, a girls' school, and Alliance School of Neve Tzedek. I think 32 of the first dwellings of the Ahuzat Bayit neighborhood. And the Herzliya Hebrew Gymnasium, I think he was responsible also. And I think after World War I, he was a member of the town's first local council. During the 1920s, he was a member of Jaffa City's council. In his public activities, he initiated and conceived many ideals for the improvement and enhancement of the city. And yeah, that's very interesting. He was very into Hebrew and Arab culture. He could speak the language that would help him play different roles inside. I think he was a mediator for the Jewish and Arab inhabitants of Tel Aviv and Jaffa. He brought people together, I believe, at that stage in time. And I think obviously it was a time period of conflict between Arabs and Jews. And obviously we know about the violence that actually took place during that point. But he would try his best to offer both Jews and Arabs a different perspective on the inevitable mutual life. And I don't think his views became so popular on both ends, let's just say, and stuff like that. During the last years of his life, he moved more away from public affairs, although he was active in several associations, among them the World Sephardic Association in Tel Aviv. He would write and publish essays, I think in Hebrew and in Arabic newspapers, and he tried to put a non-partisan voice regarding the questions of life inside that specific area. I think he himself had 7 children, if I'm not mistaken: Moshe, Meir, Avner, Tzadok, Hillel, Yehudit, and Yoram. Now, he passed away himself on the 23rd of July, 1934. This is his son, 3 months after the death of his wife. And after Shloush passed away, the city of Tel Aviv named the street after him, Yosef Eliyahu Street, located near the Frederick R. Mann Auditorium in the heart of the city. So it was a special edition here. We were speaking about the famous Rabbi Aharon Shloush, from the famous Shloush dynasty, business dynasty, we can say, in of itself. Now, friends, over here, we are a community. We're learning about the famous rabbis, Jewish personalities of yesteryear on the series. We spoke about a famous Algerian, Moroccan rabbi who would later on have a huge role, let's just say, in the formation of the state of Israel, early parts before the pre-state of the land of Israel, Rabbi Aharon Shloush. And really, really did make his his impact, and the descendants would also, especially in the earlier parts of the history. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear. Now, if you descend from any of the famous rabbis, please send me a message. I would love to hear more information on that also. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people, because there's a huge interest, let's just say, within regards to Jewish history, and especially Sephardic Ottoman history, North African history, and to learn just about what went on, especially in the early stages of Zionism. And this is very much an integral video within regards to that. We're nearing a staggering 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. So please subscribe to the channel. We also record other videos, not just on great rabbis of yesteryear. We'll record videos with interesting Jewish personality every single day we try to record with. We also cover videos on daily tidbit of the Daf Yomi also, and on Parshat Shavua, on the Hebrew month, and so on and so forth. So I think on that note, wishing you all a fantastic day. Please join, enjoy, and thanks very much. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch the video. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.